You know why this is all happening? It's happening because we don't know what the future is going to be. We don't know what jobs are coming up.
Dubai is not only going to concentrate on schools, but there is a major shift in emphasis on having some Ivy League universities coming here.
Education is going through such a significant transformation. There is no longer a one-size-fits-all model. When we were going to school, that's where you go, this is what you do.
People living in the greater South Asian countries, this is going to be the hub of learning and development for all these future generations.
It definitely is overwhelming for parents, for children, for educators, which is why I think we're looking for different skills, right? We're looking for adaptability.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Brick Buzz. Today, we're going to have a very interesting topic that ties up education and real estate, and that's going to be the future of education in real estate. Today in the studio with me is again Karishma. Karishma, welcome back. It's such a pleasure to have you and hear your insightful thoughts and your views about education and real estate and how seamlessly you tie those two things together. So, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Asim. Thank you for having me back. And I think this is such an important topic, the future of education and the future of real estate, because I think they're both changing so quickly, so rapidly.
Ever evolving.
Yes, ever evolving. Perfect word. Thank you.
You're welcome. So how do you feel about this topic, and what do you see are the trends in education, and that's going to be for not only 2024, but how did you see this complete spectrum evolving, and what do you see in foreseeable future, which is like 3 to 5 years and beyond that?
So, Asim, I think education is going through such a significant transformation. There is no longer a one-size-fits-all model. When we were going to school, 1 or 2 schools, that's where you go, this is what you do. And even now, with all the different curricula available.
I think there are more than 224 schools available in Dubai right now.
Yes, and even with all of that, because of the advent of AI and technology and the fact that it's growing at such an exponential rate, education is trying to catch up. There's so many different things that now we're looking at. They're not just the standard subjects. There's a strong emphasis on STEM-based learning. There's a strong emphasis on STEAM-based learning, which also the A is for the art initiatives. There's digital literacy, financial literacy, personalized learning, holistic learning, collaborative learning. Parents are just increasingly seeking answers to questions that they don't know. I'll give you an example. There's been a 25% increase in STEM-based programs, 30% increase in STEAM-based learning programs, 30% increase in digital literacy programs in schools, 40% increase in individualized learning plans in schools. And you know why this is all happening? It's happening because we don't know what the future is going to be.
Exactly.
Right? We don't know what jobs are coming up. It's really exciting, but it's also very overwhelming. And I think it's the same for real estate because it has to catch up because this is such an important part of the future.
Do you think it's becoming overwhelming for the kids and the parents?
I think it definitely is overwhelming for parents, for children, for educators. And I think while we're all, which is why I think we're looking for different skills, right? We're looking for adaptability. I think that is, one of the most, because our children have to be able to adapt. We're talking about asking the right questions. Now, look, we've got ChatGPT. We don't need rote-based learning anymore, the way we did it, right? We need play-based approaches when kids are small, so they're more curious. We need inquiry. So,
Karishma, you and I belong to 2 different generations.
But still, I also did
always
learning.
remember that. Always remember that.
I did probably a little less rote-based learning than you did, but I know I did that.
So do you think a very important question that pops in my head? You've mentioned all these things that are coming up, and do you think all the institutions in Dubai are offering the same curriculum to the students, or your institution takes some sort of credit in being the pioneer or the leaders in certain form of education?
So I think one of our schools, which is Clarion, which is a progressive American primary school, predominantly, Clarion is a very futuristic school in terms of the approaches it takes. It's a very progressive education, so it is not so focused sort of on purely text-based learning. It is really, and kids, when they're young, they need to play, and I think that is the center point of this school, and stay curious, because as things evolve and as things change, even for our seniors, curiosity, being able to ask the right questions, adaptability, all of those things play a really important part. So, yeah, I think progressive learning models are really good. And for the rest of Dubai, you've got lots of different things that people can choose from, depending on, if someone's come from the UK, you have lots of British schools, you've got American schools, you've got IB schools. But I think that all of these schools, are all looking to adapt to a 21st century that we don't really know. It's not in front of us. There are jobs, the names of jobs, an AI geneticist, a drone manager, they mean nothing to you and me. They're going to mean something to possibly my children and my grandchildren. So.
I think they're going to be the future trends. One very important thing that has happened in Dubai is not only going to concentrate on schools, but there is a major shift in emphasis on having some Ivy League universities coming here and setting up their base of operation from Dubai. So Dubai, if for example Harvard, Yale, MIT, all of these universities set up some sort of infrastructure over here and they have a campus over here. So it's not only going to be beneficial for Dubai, but it's going to be a hub of learning for the entire region, a greater GCC region, and even for people living in the greater South Asian countries. This is going to be the hub of learning and development for all these future generations.
So Asim, when we spoke last, when we did the podcast for the SIG Learning series, we were talking about what is already an undersupply, right? With the influx of people, because of what's happening around the world, you've got so many people coming in because, as we said, this is a safe environment, it's a stable property market, and it's only a booming property market right now. So how are we going to make space for all of these people? How is the property market adapting to this?
Well, purely from the statistics point of view, right now Dubai population is around 3.5 million, and moving forward with the D33 initiative of His Highness and the 2040 agenda and all those things combined, the population is going to go up to 7.5 million. That's a very, very safe estimate. We have so many programs, so many things happening in all different fields. This is going to be for a hub of education. This is going to be a hub of learning and development, and even space research.
Yes.
There is very high emphasis on space research programs being conducted and being promulgated in Dubai. And that will form a basis of a chain reaction of more universities coming here, more people coming here. So imagine 7.5 million people every year. We are talking about 500,000 people coming to Dubai. And the supply, and an average family size in Dubai, you very well know because you're in the education industry, it's around 4.8 to 5 people. Imagine you need 50,000 homes for those people that are newly coming to Dubai. So 50,000 homes would be required every year. Right now you have a supply of around maximum up to 24 to 25,000 homes every year. So you have a shortfall in foreseeable future of around 25,000 houses every year. Imagine that people say we have oversupply, but oversupply with respect to what?
Got it.
It's not a cut and paste model that you say, okay, I'm going to have copy paste. It takes time for a micro city to develop. We have seen downtown being built. It took significant amount of time in terms of years. There was around 8 to 10 years for downtown to finally take its full shape right now in the manner that we see downtown, and we still see some parts of downtown being still developed.
Yes.
Now, in terms of Arabian Ranches, Arabian Ranches is blossoming again. There are a lot of restructuring being done there. So I think when people talk about whether Dubai is a bubble or whether you will have oversupply, I don't think, especially with the way Dubai is moving and in foreseeable future, especially tying up with the education institutions and the amount of education institutions that are going to come here, I think the supply of this oversupply dilemma that we say, and that we are going to have an oversupply and we still have an oversupply, is null and void. That point becomes null and void then and there.
Right.
Now, what do you see for the future of the higher learning institutions in Dubai?
So this is really interesting because I have a child who's applying to university just next year. And I think for the first time, what I was told was in his particular school that 1 in 5 children of his cohort are applying to universities locally in Dubai.
That's a major shift.
That is a major shift.
That's a major shift.
Because people were only looking at the US, the UK, Canada, those were your main, Australia. And now all of a sudden and now you're telling me that, you've got the IVs coming and you already have like an amazing, you've got NYU Abu Dhabi and Abu Dhabi. So this is only going to increase. So then you'll probably need really, young housing like they do in the States.
And the student housing.
Yeah, student housing.
There's so many projects I've seen, and they're university towns. If you talk about the US, there are
like Boston,
like Boston, like in Texas, Arlington. That's a university town, and they have a special emphasis on housing being built just for the students. So there's student housing complexes being built. I know a couple of projects that are being constructed in Abu Dhabi for student housing. So I think Dubai and UAE as a broader spectrum.
Right.
Is moving towards that direction at a very, very accelerated pace.
So, Asim, there's another key consideration here, right? You were asking me what are the challenges we face, right? We've also got a very real challenge in terms of the fact that we are living in an environment of chaotic climate change right now. It is real, right? Sustainability, greenhouse design, green design. These are all huge initiatives in schools, especially like our Scholars International Group schools and schools throughout Dubai. And, it's something that families are very aware about. Children these days are so aware about, sustainability issues. How is this transferring to the real estate projects going forward, especially with the net zero initiative that we have in the UAE for 2050?
Well, there are serious measures being taken right now to reduce the carbon footprint and the greenhouse effects. Now, that's a separate discussion in its own, but the real estate industry, why at one point in time, I'll give you an example. At one point in time, there was a saying that if you buy an off-plan property, which is just being issued, released in the market, that's going to be less expensive than a ready unit, because ready unit is ready. You can occupy it the next day. But now we see that the new projects that are coming in are at times more expensive than the ready projects. Why is that? Because the construction philosophy and methodology has greatly evolved. Now, if you are taking green initiatives, if you're taking initiatives to put solar energy in use, efficient use of everything, even air conditioning, at one point in time, a lot of people came to us, and these are very practical, these are very small practical examples. People, you say, oh, I don't have a chiller bill. My building is chiller free. What does that mean?
Because what does that mean? I don't know either.
Okay, there is no BTU meter fitted. There is no meter fitted. There are no intelligent circuits fitted in that building to actually measure the energy being consumed by your unit. And there is no three-way valve processing system.
So you just get as a mad bill at the end of the month.
You'll get an average bill. Right. Now, there are buildings in Dubai where you have these bypass valve systems fitted. If your unit is not in use, it will bypass the energy to some other place. That means you'll have more efficient use.
Right.
There are now buildings being built. If you spend 7 to 8 hours in older days and in a lot of other places, not in Dubai, when you sit in an office for 8 to 9 hours, you will have a headache. It's not, trust me, it's not about the work that you're doing there. It's about the lack of oxygen.
Yes.
It's the lack of oxygen in the atmosphere, because now the newer buildings, the place where we are sitting right now, has a fresh air supply going to each and every unit, each and every office, each and every home. So even if you're sitting there for 8 to 10 hours, I'm not endorsing sitting late and working throughout the night, but even if you have to do that, the oxygen level within that building is not going to deplete, and you're going to feel fresh.
Right.
Now, all those initiatives are very important, but are very costly as well.
Yes.
But Dubai as a whole is making cognizant efforts in ensuring that all the new buildings not only meet but supersede these expectations, and the carbon footprints are actually going to become zero at one point in time. That's a major, major initiative. If you look at from an engineering perspective and an engineering point of view, that's a major initiative being taken. And you know where that starts from? That it starts from your kid going to the school and being taught the importance of this particular factor from school.
Yes.
So these things being undertaken by schools, especially like your schools, and you mentioned Clarion in this, these are very, very important factors. And the schools that are doing this, hats off to them, and we should really appreciate the kind of work they're doing out there.
Right. Now, you've just mentioned, these high costs, right? Because sustainability right now is expensive, right?
Sustainability will always be expensive.
But you've got all sorts of people here, right? You've got students coming in, you've got young families coming in, you've got probably a young family that's just, someone who's just starting their careers, whatever. So we're just not looking at, the shiny branded developments, right, that everyone's talking about in Dubai all over the world. We're also talking about affordability and in our neighborhoods. So what is the future of that, given like this mad expansion?
You see, anything that is the initial state is always expensive. I'll give you an example of the electric cars that we used to have. Electric cars, when they were being developed, were very expensive. Now, when that technology is refined and is implemented across the board, it becomes
Mainstream.
more cost effective.
Yes.
It becomes more mainstream. It becomes more cost effective. I firmly believe that we have all come from different parts of the world, and we have chosen Dubai to be our home.
Yes.
Not a place to stay, not a place, but our home, a place to raise our next generation and our kids. So what are we giving back to this beautiful city? This magnificent city that has opened its arms and said, okay, Asim, you can come, you can raise your family over here, you can earn a decent livelihood, you can have a life. People talk about the American life all the time, the American dream. What about the Dubai life? What about Dubai dream?
Yes.
It's actually a real life scenario. You have been here for over a decade. I've been over here well over a decade. Why? Because Dubai has opened its arms to us. So I think it is of paramount importance, and I'm an ardent believer of this fact that yes, by contributing to all these green initiatives as a resident of this city, it is up to me to make my contribution. In all manners and form, I have to contribute back to this society and to this beautiful city that we are very, very proud to call our home.
Yes. Well said. And also, I think Dubai is also a pioneer in, sort of trying out these sort of half-day Friday work days and, more flexible working, especially post-COVID, right? Which brings me to another question, which is, you've got flexible working hours. Remote working is like a really big thing now. And you've also got hybrid learning. So imagine there are still days where you've got a mom or a dad sitting at home, and you've also got a kid who's doing his or her, hybrid learning or online study and whatever. So all of a sudden, you need study space, you need office space, you need all sorts of these
Home
things.
offices are now a
Yes.
thing.
So, and of course, it all translates into how new homes are being built or where you're choosing to live, right? Because you need that infrastructure. Smart homes. I don't even know. I mean, we'd have to educate ourselves to live in a smart home. What is a smart home?
Your definition of a smart home and my definition of a smart home can be entirely different, because my generation, I'm still old school. I would still like to, I'm not a very big fan of working from home. I still believe in the human interaction.
Yes.
I am
think
an
we all
ardent
do.
believer that yes, you need to get up in the morning, change, get dressed, go to work, because that's a cycle of economy. You have to use the roads. Everything is interlinked. It's an ecosystem. But definitely there has been a trend where even if we are working on, for example, weekends, so we need to have a space for home, like a home office. So we need that space for home office. And one trend that I saw, very, very paramount change, is the philosophy that people are now considering to live in a horizontal living space rather than a vertical. So the trend of living probably in a 40-storied building or a 60-storied building is people would now prefer to live in smaller townhouses.
Yes.
Because that's horizontal living. They have access to the parks more. They have access to the jogging tracks, the cycling tracks, the outdoor areas. So the trend that COVID has brought, I think, is people are more inclined to live in those areas which have townhouses, which have better community facilities, rather than in tall skyscrapers.
Right.
As far as the smart homes are concerned, that technology is being evolved at a phenomenal pace, because now AI is a part of it. So your habits, your behavior is being accepted, acknowledged, appreciated, noted, measured, and then transpired back into the system. So
Like
that
an
means
algorithm.
like an algorithm. You and I, right now, in the realm of AI, are products.
Yes.
You and I are products, and that product is being observed, and the data is being recorded, and the data is going to be put back into the system to have more efficient homes, which knows that what temperature to run, what's lighting to switch on, what security measures to adapt, how do you make efficient use of that available living space. One very important factor, you have a 3,000 square feet home. Are you making efficient use of all the available space within that 3,000? So that design evolution is now coming in, and that design evolution would mean that we'll have better, efficient housing spaces designed around us, designed around your and my needs.
So the World Economic Forum has a report called the Future of Jobs Report 2020. It suggests that by 2025, 85 million jobs may be displaced by a shift in the division of labor between humans and machines, while 97 million new roles may emerge. Yeah? So the possibility of this new future is just exciting and overwhelming and daunting.
So one very important thing that I established from those figures that you just quoted was that certain amount of jobs are going to diminish, but certain new amount of
And
jobs
more.
and more, which the number actually is more. So lesser jobs are going to be culminated, and more jobs and more opportunities are going to be created. One very important factor, as human beings, how quick are we to unlearn and then relearn? That is going to be the deciding factor, because the most important and the biggest hurdle I've seen in this complete scenario is our ability to first unlearn and then relearn a new thing.
Yes.
And that is going to be the game changer in this whole scenario.
I think that just comes down to adaptability. Right.
Again, your point of adaptability.
Thank you so much, Asim.
So thank you, Karishma. It's always an enlightening experience to have such wonderfully thought-provoking discussions with you.
Thank
I'm
you
so
for
looking
having me.
forward to seeing you And could you kindly tell our audience if they have to reach out to you for the schooling systems and to get help in this, how they can reach out to you?
Yes, Asim, for sure. Everybody, please go to www.sigeducation.com and thank you for watching, and here's to a bright future.
Thank you, Karishma. Thank you very much. And that's all for our episode on the Brick Buzz. See you guys next time.